What's up, people? Here to get predictions for UFC 132 going down this weekend. Not going to go over all the fights, but I am excited for this card. You know, these 4th of July weekends by the UFC event are usually pretty stacked up, and this one's no different. Of course, the original main event, BJ Penn, John Fitch 2, was pulled from the card, but I don't got a problem with it because I think that the main event between Dominick Cruz and Urijah Faber will be much better than that fight could ever be. That said, real quick on the undercard, Melvin Guard, Shane Roller. I'm going to go with Melvin. Shane Roller may have an edge in wrestling, but I don't think that he's nearly fast enough to really get a hold of Melvin. And even if he can, Melvin shows some really improved takedown defense as of late. And on the feet, Melvin is in a different league in speed and power. So I see him knocking Shane Roller out in the second round. You got Andre Winter, Anthony Njokuani. Should be a pretty entertaining fight. You know, a good stand-up battle, I imagine. But you got to favor Njokuani just because Andre Winter doesn't have the best chin. And Njokuani, as well know, has some pretty good stand-up strikes and power. Matt Wiman, Dennis Seaver. Although both have looked better as of late, improved, I'll favor Seaver. I think he's just a more physical fighter. Wiman does good against some fighters, but against a guy like Seaver, I just don't think it's a good matchup. So go with Seaver by decision. Let's see. We got Brian Bowles, TK Mizugaki. Bowles only his second fight back since losing to Dominick Cruz, which seems like forever ago. That was a win over Damasio Page, where he won by guillotine in the exact same round, the exact same time of their first fight. Never going to see that again in the sport. I'd be shocked. Takeo Mizugaki, he's a solid fighter, you know, but he's just solid. He usually loses to the division's best, like Miguel Torres, Urijah Faber. And I think he'll lose to Bowles here, but I think it'll be a close fight. Not close, but entertaining and competitive. But I'll go with Brian Bowles by decision in what should be one of the more entertaining fights of the night. Carlos Condit, Dong Hyun Kim. I actually expect this fight to be somewhat similar to Dong Hyun Kim's most recent win over Nate Diaz. Except for I think Condit's going to win this one, unlike Nate wasn't able to. My reason being, I think that Condit and Nate are somewhat similar fighters in a way. But Carlos is a naturally bigger, stronger, and a more, I don't want to say aggressive, but he throws more than Nate does. I don't know. Nate throws a lot, but Dong Hyun Kim was able to wrap Nate Diaz up and stall him out like he does a lot of his fighters. I don't know how successful he'll be able to do that against Carlos Condit because Carlos Condit is very aggressive both on his feet and off of his back. And as we saw, Dong Hyun Kim faded late in that fight against Nate. Nate almost was able to come from behind and steal the fight in the third round, but he just ran out of time. I don't think Condit will run out of time. I think Condit will turn the gas, have his foot on the gas, and I think he's going to probably win this fight either by late stoppage or by split decision. Next up, Tito Ortiz, Ryan Bader. Both coming off losses. Bader coming off the first loss of his career to John Jones. One-sided defeat. Tito coming off yet another loss, this time to Matt Hamill. It comes down to this. Tito Ortiz has been in the sport a long time. He's not the fighter he once was. Injuries have plagued him. They've broken his body down. And, I mean, I'm not saying Bader is that much better fighter than Matt Hamill. But if Tito lost to Matt Hamill, I honestly believe he loses to Bader. I just don't see Tito winning this fight. He may have better stand-up, who knows, but he doesn't have the kind of devastating stand-up that's going to really trouble Ryan Bader. Bader's got the better wrestling. Once he puts Tito on his back, Tito isn't going to be able to do too much from there. I don't think he's going to catch Bader in a submission, so I'll go with Bader by decision, and this will probably be the last time we see Tito Ortiz fight in the octagon. Except for on UFC Unleashed or DVDs. Co-main event of the night, Chris Leben taking on Vanderlei Silva. Fight that I'm really excited for. Always up on Vanderlei Silva fights. Always exciting fighter. I even like his ring entrance with the music, the sandstorm. Good matchup. Should be a slugfest. Leben coming off that loss where he actually got knocked out surprisingly against Brian Stann. Not that he lost, but he got stopped. Vanderlei coming off that win over Michael Bisping, which was last year, but it seems like more than a year ago. I'll favor Vanderlei, although I still think Chris Leben has the better chin of the two. If it goes down to a straight up slugfest, Leben might be able to get the better of it, but Vanderlei's got an advantage in speed, and he's got more dimensions to his striking. He's not just a puncher. He's got good kicks. He's got good knees. Leben may have an edge in wrestling, but Vanderlei's not the easiest guy to take down. He's got some pretty solid he can work off his back. I don't think Liam's going to be able to do too much damage there if he gets him down. So I think it'll be a stand-up fight for the most part, and I favor Vanderlei Silva there, although either guy could definitely win this fight by knockout. I'd be surprised if it goes to a decision. But then again, Vanderlei chucked in. Who would have thought that did, right? Main event of the night, UFC Bantamweight champion Dominick Cruz defending his title against Urijah Faber in a rematch. These guys fought a couple years ago in the WEC for Urijah Faber's then WEC featherweight title. Urijah won that by first round guillotine, but both fighters are much improved since that time, particularly Dominick Cruz, who has progressed leaps and bounds from that day. Cruz coming off a very impressive win over Scott Jorgensen, which I thought was going to be a competitive fight, ended up being one-sided in favor of Cruz. Urijah coming off a solid but not special win over Eddie Wineland. You know, Urijah, this is his third fight since moving down to bantamweight. It's a good matchup. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think it's going to go all 5 rounds. I think it's going to be probably the most exciting fight on the card. I favor Dominick Cruz slightly. We've seen him, how he looked against Joseph Benavidez. He was able to pretty much win those fights twice. Benavidez is a guy that trains with Urijah Faber. Very similar fighter, similar stature. That said, I do believe that Urijah Faber is a better overall fighter than Joseph Benavidez. Faster, more talented, better technique. Pretty much better in all facets of the game. Which is why I think he can make this a closer fight than Joseph Benavidez did. However, Dominick Cruz has really got this style down. This unorthodox, moving style. He's able to shake off a lot of takedowns. It's just really become really effective. And he's really seemed to have mastered it at this point. And although I think Urijah will be able to get takedowns here and there, I don't know how many he'll be able to get. And even when he does, I don't know how much work and damage he'll be able to incur there. And on the feet, I give the edge to Cruz. I just think all those angles he cuts and the activity he does, he'll be able to get a slight edge on the points, you know, on piling up points. Urijah is not a bad striker himself, but Cruz has got that height and reach advantage. I just think that he'll be able to land more, if not hurt Urijah. I think Uriah's got more power in his strikes, but I think Dominick Cruz can land more shots and pile up more points. I do think it'll be a close fight. I do think it'll be very competitive. It'll probably be a 3-2 bout, most likely. Could end up being a controversial decision, but as much as I would like to see Urijah Faber win this fight, because of course he fights out of my city, you know, I'm going to favor Dominick Cruz by decision. But it should be a fun fight, one way or the other. Plus, these guys don't like each other. What appears to be genuine animosity, let's hope it translates into the octagon. All right, guys, that's it for now. Talked about these fights and a bunch of other stuff on Interstate Science and Violence Radio Show. If you missed that, go back and check it out on podcast or on demand. Link in the information part of the video, as usual, as well as a link to my Twitter and scienceandviolence.com. Want to hear your thoughts on these fights? Which ones you're looking forward to the most? In particular, who you guys got in Dominick Cruz, Urijah Faber, and Vanderlei Silva, Chris Lieben, and how you see those fights playing out. And any other thoughts you might have on Beto Ortiz, Condit, Donghyun Kim, or any other fights I may have mentioned or not mentioned. That's it for now, though. Until next time, guys, I'm out.